Good evening. I'd like to call these COW meetings scheduled for the 24th of March, 2026 to order. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda from administration?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, administration has no additions or deletion.
Thank you. Anything from council? Not seeing anything. I will look for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Smith. And I'll ask the question, all in favor? And that's carried. We don't have any public input or delegations tonight, but we do have a presentation. Once again, we have our Sergeant Dehan, Detachment Commander for Redwater with us, and he's got some quarterly stats for us. We're in your hands, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for having me here today. The purpose of today's attendance is just to give a quick update on quarter 3 of the 2025-2026 fiscal year. So quarter 3 encompasses from October 1st to the end of December of 2025. Go to the next slide. So first priority for the 2025-2026 fiscal year was the crime reduction, prolific offenders, and drugs. So some of our subcategories under that was proactive interactions with public offenders or prolific offenders. During the third quarter, we monitored 6 prolific offenders that are living in the Redwater area. We conducted 3 checks and no charges were issued. I can say that we've dropped those prolific offenders down to about 3 in the last quarter that we'll be presenting on next time. But that's just to say that it's nice that they are going down, they're disappearing, and we even apprehended one just the other day, lapsed the CSO and he went right back down. So it is working. We executed about 18 arrest warrants during the third quarter. And those can be done anytime, whether they're targeted arrest warrants that we're actually getting brought in and going to someone's house and picking them up, or if we're just stopping a vehicle and they happen to have an arrest warrant, we're picking them up as well. That doesn't include the stats of our traffic unit, that's just the detachment members themselves. Our hotspot patrols, we had about 190 targeted patrols through the third quarter. That's documented patrols. I know there's probably more than that happening, it's just that's the ones that were actually documented by members. So. And then for increased CDSA, so our drug investigations, during the third quarter, we actually increased it to 6 investigations regarding drugs, most for possession of illegal drugs, but there was one trafficking that we did investigate. Not much stemmed out of it, but there was a trafficking complaint that we did investigate. So, next slide. Clicker. So our second priority was community engagement. During the third quarter, we did not hold any town halls. We obviously had held 3 since then with both all 3 communities, Sturgeon County, Smallwood and Redwater, and Thorhill just this last Sunday. Interaction with community groups, we had 11. It should be noted that now our interactions with community groups are being reduced to anything that goes above and beyond the police regular duties. So if just attending schools or going to play foot or floor hockey with the schools don't count as our community connections anymore. They're supposedly day-to-day activities and we're supposed to be doing them anyway. So they won't be included on the community groups when you get those little printouts, those reports that come out every quarter that I provide to council. And then our media briefs and our rave callouts. We're still doing our weekly rave callouts, sending out what we're doing for the week and what kind of calls we dealt with. And then we do have our social media account that we post weekly on, if not more than weekly. Some updated stats as well as just some media releases. We also send them out to the local paper as well here, the Redwater Review. They've had a few that we've dropped off with them as well. I don't actually read the paper, so I don't know if they're getting in there, but they did.
I was going to comment. I saw them the other day, the last paper.
Oh, perfect. So they are getting in there.
Yeah. That one anyway.
Yeah. Right. Next slide. The third priority was enforcement visibility in communities. So during the third quarter, tickets went down a little bit. We issued 60 tickets, 22 warnings, and right around 5 or 6 defect notices. If anybody doesn't know what defect notice is, let's say somebody has a tinted window or bald tires, we can pull them over, give them a defect notice. Then they usually have a certain time frame, whether it's 24 hours or 48 hours, to come in and prove to us that they've fixed the issue. They pulled the tint off the windows, they've got new tires, and then they don't get a ticket. If they fail to report to us within so many hours, to show that they've corrected it, then I think it does get issued out for them, so. And then for our Highway 2863 enforcement initiatives, we held one. It was a joint initiative. I believe the CPOs came out to help us out with that one, and that was on Highway 28, right around the 224, actually intersection. There's a little interaction there. And then we had 2 total check stops. A little low for my liking, especially because it was through the Christmas holidays. We should have had more check stops going on, but I know we were a little short with manpower and staff, so they were only able to hold 2 of them. I believe they did get a couple impairs out of it, though, sadly. So. And then our next slide. Our final priority for the 2025-2026 fiscal year was the member employee wellness and respect. So our team building activities, we did a total of 11. Just a little list of some of the ones we did here. We do a monthly physical fitness challenge that is changes every month, but it's a daily physical fitness challenge. Yes, they make me participate in it. Not that I'm happy about it, but I have to participate because even the front counter staff get involved. We did Bobby the Bear, which is kind of a hide and seek thing throughout our office. Deck out the desk. We had a competition where we decorated our desks or doors for our offices. I didn't win that competition. Gingerbread house competition was a lot of fun. For those that know Constable Lamab, he's always a fun spirit, and he was part of that, and he made it a lot more fun than it normally would have been. Unfortunately, I did not win that as well. Secret Santa and our hot chocolate bar. And you can see Thiel and Riker there at the, I believe that's the Kris Kringle Holiday Mingle they went to. So, next slide. So our community engagements during the third quarter, we did, of course, Coffee with the Cop, COP, Rural Crime Watch meetings, Remembrance Day ceremonies, some school visits. We attended the Kris Kringle Holiday Mingle and, of course, the Festival of Trees. And there we have one of our victim services on the right, Chantel, and one of our staff in the office there on the left, Allison, with our decorated trees with donuts and police tape. And we didn't win that one either, so there's a theme coming on here. And then the next slide, we'll have our calls for service here. So our total calls for service in quarter 3 in 2025 was 685, which is actually up a bit. I don't know why it says down 2%, but it should be up 2% from 2024, where they had 668 calls for service. So out of those 685 in 2025, 167 were in the Redwater town itself. And in 2024, 186 were in Redwater town itself. So we are finding that about 40% of our call volume comes from Thorold County, and the rest of it splits pretty evenly between Redwater and what we have in Sturgeon County. So, and then for our stats, our persons crime went down from 38 calls to 27 calls for service, so it's down 29%. Our property crime went from 128 calls to 104, so that was down 19%. Other criminal code went from 18 to 13, which was down 28%. And our total criminal code investigations in the third quarter went from 184 down to 144, which is down 22% from the year prior. And then our traffic criminal code offenses went up a little bit from 6 to 10. Criminal code traffic could be anything from dangerous driving, flight from police, fail to stop, driving without due care and intention, things like that. Provincial traffic code traffic went from 644 down to 236, so it's actually down 63%. Those stats include the traffic unit. And it should be noted the traffic unit is somewhat decimated at this point. There's 1 member working out of the regular 3. One of them transferred out, the other one's on Patley right now, so there's just 1 working alone. So our numbers have decreased quite drastically on that one. But he's still out and about by himself and writing as many tickets as he can find. So other traffic went down from 2 to 0, 100%. And motor vehicle collisions actually went up 28% from 92 to 118. Should we know that December was a big part of that, the weather that we had going on in December, that freezing rain just was horrendous, and it was week after week of freezing rain. So, of course, we had our collisions, I believe our total collisions just in December alone was over 60. So it was quite the busy month. We were going from traffic collision to traffic collision every day, all day. So. And then some other areas there. The next one. Okay, so this is just our common police activities and our common areas. So our false alarms stayed from 6 to 6. I don't know why it says 10%. It should be 0 or even. False abandoned 911 calls went down 17% from 18 to 15. Suspicious person, vehicle, property went down 31% from 51 to 35. Again, I say this every time, but this is when I want to come up because I want people calling in these suspicious things. Persons reported missing went down from 6 to 2. It's down 67%. That one saves us a lot of time when we get people reported missing. 99.9% of the time it's just they haven't reported in time or they just don't want to talk to certain family members, so family is always looking for them. They do take a lot of resources to try to find people sometimes when they don't want to be found. It can be quite tedious. Our search warrants went down from 1 to 0, so we did not write any search warrants during that last quarter, quarter 3. Our disposal abuse, though, went up 33% from 27 to 36. And I think we can contribute this to our economy as well. We're going to see as our economy drops, our domestic violence goes up. It's unfortunate, but it happens every year. Every time our economy bounces, it just puts strain on families and strain on the public. So our disposal abuses do go up, unfortunately. Same with our assaults and our persons crime. And then our Form 10, so our actual formable Mental Health Act calls for service went from 2 to 0, which is down 100%, which is good because those ones take about 4 or 5 hours at a time just for a member to deal with. So, and then just before we go into questions, as you know, we did hold a few town halls, and I just want to kind of show what we've been seeing. So the town of Redwater, I just read it now. So council, I know we discussed that last time that we were looking at prolific offenders, property crime kind of based, visibility in communities, traffic, especially around the Opal Road and Highway 38 in town, and drug enforcement. And I see it does play somewhat of the part that property crime and theft was brought up, what I just read here just now with our community engagement, your guys' survey that you held for us. Violent and persons related offenses was also important, including domestic violence and weapons related offenses. And then again, reiterating that illegal drug related offenses. As we all know, our drug offenses lead to usual property crime offenses. So if we can reduce those drugs, usually the property crime drops with it. So, Sturgeon County, we did see they were interested in reducing property crime, increased visibility of police in the area, and reduce crime against persons. So pretty on par with what everybody else is saying. And Thorhill County, we did see they wanted to focus on prolific offenders as well, property crime, visibility, communication, and traffic safety as well. So everybody's thinking about the same things here right about now. So we just got to try and put our priorities in place for the next meeting and hopefully get it signed off. So we'll take that information and try to develop our priorities. And we can only keep about 3, maybe 4. So hopefully we can keep those in there. I'd like to keep that wellness and respect in there as well. So, but yeah. Other than that, any questions?
Anything from Dehan? Sarge, in the total calls for service, you've broken it out. 2025, the third quarter, you had 685 and 167 being in Redwater. Unfortunately, the stats that follow don't help us with that. Can you tell us what kind of things we're seeing in town compared to the overall picture? Is there something special happening in town that isn't in the rest of the area, or is it just the same cross-section?
This could also be calls, it's not just criminal code offenses that these calls are, so these can be calls like well-being checks, which we get a lot of in town especially. People just haven't answered their phone for a few days. People driving through town, so we're getting a lot of that. People driving aggressively, especially on 38. People are not slowing down, especially some of the big rate traffic that we're seeing coming through. We've had some domestic violence within town, unfortunately. I'm trying to think of what would be the most common thing. I think the suspicious activity is one of the things that we're seeing a little bit more. People are reporting in town, which is nice to see. I would like to see it increase. But as we've seen, we did have like the break-and-enters just not too long ago, 2 different places there in town. So that's a couple, but I haven't seen too many more break-and-enters actually in town since those 2. So whoever did it was a smash and grab and leave, as far as I can tell. So.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Anything else for the sergeant? I noticed your day started off with a little bit of excitement today to match yesterday. You had about a 1,200 or 1,300 square foot house driving down Highway 28. on the back of some trucks. And, it took up shoulder to shoulder. It wasn't a narrow unit at all. It was, so I don't know if you guys got any calls on that or anything, but.
No calls, but I did see it. I saw when it was pulled out at the rest stop there, and I was thinking this is gonna cause problems, but we actually never got any calls about it, so. We did have a few people driving. I actually made a couple traffic stops today myself. I don't usually get out and do that very often anymore, but we just had a few people just driving, and I just couldn't stop, or avoid stopping them. I had to slow down in our area and drive appropriately. I don't care what they do in other areas, but in our area, I'd like to see it slow down, so.
Anything from administration? I know you're keeping up your monthly contacts with the sergeant, so.
I have no questions, Mr. Mayor.
Nathan, thank you very much for coming to visit us once again. We always appreciate your visits, and the third quarter stats have a general decrease. Like you say, you'd like to see the increase in the suspicious persons and vehicles calls. So anyone that's watching, make sure you tell everybody to phone in.
Yeah, and again, people can use that 310 RCMP if they don't want to make it, if it's not urgent or they think, is this important? At least that way a call's made about it, and that might identify hotspot patrols as well, right? So if we start getting a lot of calls in the same kind of general area or about a general vehicle, we can increase patrols in those areas. If we don't know that it's not happening or that it's happening in your area, then it's hard to enforce it, right? So it's always nice to see.
And a shameless plug for Rave and for the Facebook that you folks have.
Yes. Yeah. And if people don't know if we're recorded and they're listening to us, they can always come to the detachment, scan a QR code, and I can set them up right there at the detachment.
Good. All right. Thanks ever so much. We appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
George. Next on our list is 6.1.2, the RCMP policing priorities. That's our discussion.
Oh, I was gonna say, okay.
Oh, no, I wasn't ready for that one.
Survey results.
Yeah, this is our survey discussion. You're welcome to hang around if you like, but I know you have lots going on.
Yeah, I gotta get back. We've got overtime working tonight. I gotta get them back in the detachments. All good, but
Take care.
thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Good night.
Be safe out there. Mr. Van Buell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. So this is for council to forward the community policing priorities to the RCMP. As we're aware, in January of 2026, we received correspondence from the RCMP outlining basically a new process for them to put together their community priorities plan. The big change was discussion with council, community input, as well as that second kick to go back prior to forwarding to the RCMP. So that's what we wanted to do today. Attached to the report is kind of an executive summary on the community engagement that administration did. I think there's some interesting results in that. And I'll start with the overall perception of safety in our community. And I think this was, certainly there wasn't, there wasn't 300 or 400 responses to our survey. There was only 29. But that being said, 68% of people reported feeling very safe or somewhat safe, and only 14% reported feeling somewhat unsafe. So certainly room for some improvement. But it's not end of the world stuff. As far as the policing priorities, I think we've heard, this is going to be much a kind of a ditto remark from the town of Redwater to what Nathan's put forward and from the rest of the municipalities in the area. So property crime and theft, it's also strongly reflected in our open-ended responses when we saw that whole area of property crime is a priority. Violent and person-related offenses, including domestic violence and weapons-related concerns. And as we heard Sergeant Dehan say, as the economy goes into the, takes a downturn, this starts to rear its head, and that's reflected in our survey results as well. The people want some more priority on that. And then the illegal drug-related offenses. And I think, no surprise there, that was a ranked priority. I think there were also some other things there around traffic safety, police visibility, and I know that was brought up at the community meeting with the Coffee with a Cop, that whole idea of visibility matters, right? So, again, I think those are the highlights. There's another, the next page goes into some more detail on some specifics around back alleys, residential, and reflects some of those long form answers that we have. So administration's idea here was we were gonna take this executive summary, forward it on to Nathan so that he could put together the policing priorities, come back to council on April 7th, and then we'll have council have that last discussion with Sergeant Dehan. He would present with myself, would present the priorities, and then we get council to sign off on them. So for right now, the proposed motion is that council forward the community policing priorities to the RCMP as presented in the attached summary. And with that, I'd answer any questions that council might have.
Council through to administration. Go ahead, Councillor Spicer.
Make the motion that council forward the community, should that be administration? That administration forward the community policy priorities to the RCMP as presented in the attached summary.
Thank you. Discussion.
I wasn't really shocked with the results myself.
I missed that.
I wasn't really shocked with the results. Pretty close to what I figured they would be, I answered anyways.
What really shocked me was 29 respondents, and I know for a fact there was a dozen of us sitting around the table, and I'm sure all of us filled in the survey, so there doesn't leave many more.
If I can just make a comment on that. Certainly, I won't call it totally last minute, but there wasn't a lot of opportunity. Like we got the notification in January. It's really tough to do, a really thorough public engagement when you've got 30 days kind of to put it together before it's got to come back and be reviewed. Certainly, Sergeant Deanne and myself have talked a couple times now about having something ready to go early in January for next year. It'll be more extensive. Bring in a speaker, get more people to come to probably an evening meeting, quite frankly. And then, again, still do the survey, but have some time to really put it out to the community and see what kind of feedback we get.
Go ahead, Councillor.
The only comments that I received about it was it has to be, whatever format it's out in, it has to be more user-friendly for the seniors. I heard from at least 3 that they just refuse to try and play with the computer.
Sorry, and I think that's the opportunity if we have something more extensive in the evening where you can fill it out right there. You don't have to, put it out on a computer. It can be a quick 1-page, 2-page, and you can compile, it doesn't have to be one size fits all. We can do some different things.
Or even some paper copies that can be handed out at the Pioneer Club.
Yeah, for sure.
Go ahead.
I like that the priority about visibility too, and I've already seen some of the action on there, and I know where my brother lives, there's an RCMP officer, and I don't think he's part of our detachment here, but we had a resident upset about the speed along that same street. I think it's having effect just having that police car sit there.
It always does.
I wonder if the RCMP, all their spare cars, could just park them different places around town and just leave them.
Yeah.
They can park in front of my place anytime they want.
Anything else? when I went through this, I had an immediate takeaway. And I went back to that point 3 or 4 different times, and I think it was just the wording more than anything. But it appeared to me that maybe some of the respondents felt that Citizens on Patrol were a responsive organization of some sort, that they wanted more citizens on patrol, so that the sad thing really is that the chance of you actually seeing something happening as it's going is usually pretty slim, but you usually find the remnants quicker is what but I think that's just a personal take on it more than what it was meant to, but that was one of the things that jumped out, so. Anything else from council? Motion is we present this attached summary to the player that administration presents it. Any further discussion on that? Not seeing any, I'll call that question. All in favor? Any opposition?
Sorry, I'm in favor of.
Okay, good, thank you. Just checking. Any unfinished business from administration?
Mayor, none that we found in the minutes.
Okay, thank you. 8.1, land use bylaw.
So, Mr. Mayor, this is a quick check-in with council. I think as council's aware, administration's been putting together a number of different land use bylaw amendments that are going to be coming forward. This is kind of a last-minute addition. I met with the owner of one of the downtown businesses who has a proposed renter for a vacant building downtown. And what we found was that the proposed use is neither a discretionary or permitted use in the downtown core area. That use is a discretionary use in the general commercial area, but not in the downtown commercial area. So when I spoke with the owner of the building, one of the things that they brought up was that, they thought maybe just rezone it. And what I can tell you is from administration's perspective, spot zoning in our downtown core is probably not, or for this purpose is probably not the way to go. So before we bring forward first reading of of multiple amendments to the land use bylaw, just wanted council to have a discussion about the whole idea of care center major. And the proposed use is a daycare center downtown. They've done their drawings, they've done their homework. I think the one question that is theirs to answer is, does that location meet all the requirements, the licensing requirements that a daycare might have with the province? And really, those are the questions for the applicant to answer. I think we broke it down to basically, 3 options to do this. One is the spot zoning, which certainly, from administration's perspective, is not something that we would recommend. The other 2 are text amendments to allow a daycare center as a major, as a permitted use within the downtown core, and the second one would be to allow that use as a discretionary use in the downtown core. Again, this is a discussion. It's by no means council has to make a decision, because as you know, we'll do a land use bylaw amendment that'll get first reading, then it'll go to public hearing, and then council will get a chance to hear from the public, and then their second and third reading. Again, this is a check-in from administration to say, which way would you like to go? Or I guess the fourth option that isn't here is, we're not interested in it being a permitted or discretionary use in the downtown core. So the proposed motion is for council to direct administration to prepare land use bylaw amendment to allow care facilities as a permitted use in the downtown commercial district.
Okay.
And I'll answer any questions that they might have. This is, again, it's a discussion, give us some direction, and then we'll start the process.
Councillor Olson, I saw your
I
hand.
make the motion that we direct administration to prepare land use bylaw amendment to allow care facilities as a permitted use in the downtown commercial district.
Just make one comment that I forgot. My rationale for it be there as a permitted use, that's my fallback. If, I think council's well aware where my beliefs are. We want to make it easy for people to get permits, and discretionary uses have their purpose, no doubt about it. But wherever we can, we make them permitted uses, because that's one step that somebody who wants to start a business or who wants to build a house or whoever wants to develop in our community doesn't have to take if they don't have to go to the NPC.
Just Mr. Van Buell, very quickly, are you asking for the motion to read care center major
Yes.
as opposed to care facilities?
Yes.
Okay, so that would fall within the definition that we have within our. Councillor Olson, you're okay with that?
Okay with the friendly amendment, yeah.
Thank you. Discussion.
I see it being permitted. I think no business downtown would say no to having a daycare beside them with, say, 30 kids or whatever, or even 10 kids, because that's 10 sets of parents coming to your business next door. And that, I would have a hard time seeing somebody say no to that.
Yeah.
And then it's the government on top, the provincial government saying what they can or cannot do. I don't think we get in their way.
Councillor Cosby.
My only concern is the parking downtown, because there is other businesses that require parking too downtown. So if you have 5 or 6 vehicles parked downtown and clients or customers can't enter other businesses, that's the only problem I see that could be an issue, is parking.
I understand that. My thing is if any business goes in there, you still have your staff parking, and the parents coming or stop, drop their kids off and gone too. So, but yeah, parking's always an issue.
I believe there's 7 stalls out back, so, and a couple along the side, so that should help alleviate some of the parking problems. And, you know, truthfully, get somebody in that building and get that opened up, we might have one less dirty sidewalk in town.
So we would see this then back at our April 7th meeting with the land use bylaw.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, really quickly, we have, I guess the proper term is an omnibus bylaw. It has a number of text amendments and 2 rezonings.
Sure, you want to use that word? Use that word?
Maybe not, but there'll be a number of text amendments and then 2 rezonings that are coming on April 7th.
Okay. Anything further through to Mr. Van Buell? Not seeing anything. Call that question. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. 8.2, Mr. Van Buell, I believe this one's in your hands as well.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one quick comment. I'm gonna talk as much as Mr. Davison is tonight.
We'll make up for it.
So, under the Municipal Government Act, I have a duty to inform council of a resignation from council at the next council meeting. And there was some question on whether this is an actual council meeting, being in a CAL, so we're gonna do this here. So on, I gotta get this date correct. It was on March 19th. I received official resignation letter from Councillor Paul Brown, who is our deputy, who was our deputy mayor. Under the Municipal Government Act, the resignation is effective immediately. Upon receipt of the letter, Mr. Brown was no longer a member of council. And that's how it's stated in the MGA. So, a couple things that we need to do. And we'll do this at the April 7th meeting. We'll have to appoint a deputy mayor and an acting mayor. We'll have to do some temporary commission appointments, and we'll have to set a by-election date. Under the Municipal Government Act, we have 120 days from the date of the resignation to hold the election, not announce the election, but hold the election. So 120 days from that date puts us smack in the middle of July 17th. So timing's a bit tricky. Couple other things for council to be aware of. We also have to advertise nominations on the close of nominations for at least 2 weeks. So the quickest we can get that out is tomorrow. I think the quickest we could have nominations close is it'd be 2 weeks from when we ever set the election date on April 7th. So it would be April 23rd would be the first date that we could potentially close nominations. After that, we have to have at least 4 weeks between close of nominations and the actual election date. So that puts us at May 25th. It puts us at May 21st, which would mean your first election date would be May 22nd, which is a Friday.
Have a long weekend.
Yeah, so again, dates start to, Brian and I have talked about a few things there, but we'll have a proposed plan for council on the 7th. But those are just some of the things to keep in mind as we go through this process. The other thing, as council's aware, council will have to appoint a returning officer. We'll also have that kind of sorted out. And council will have to let us know whether they are wanting a advanced poll as well. So that is, the council has to direct the returning officer to have an advanced poll. And again, as per the election in October, council gets to say they want to have an advanced poll. They don't get to set the date of the advanced poll. That is the returning officer's job to do. So I think I covered most of the big steps there that we have to go through. I think the big one here is we do have a resignation. So we do have an empty seat on our council table. So going forward, we'll have 6 as a full council, and that's important because there are different scenarios within the Municipal Government Act where we must have full council participation. So now full council participation during that time becomes 6, not 7. So, okay. Other than that, again, this is to be accepted as information at this point in time. There's really no decisions for council to make, but we will come back with a by-election plan on April 7th.
Councillor Cosby.
I'll move to accept this as information.
Thank you. Anything from council? Go ahead.
By the way you're talking, it sounds like you're gonna try to push it into June at the latest, and then.
Yeah, I don't see it happening before June 1st.
But not, try to stay out of July if we can.
Yeah, we're gonna wanna stay out of July, so there's another complicating factor here if we do have an election, and our tax notices will go out mid-May. And so you don't wanna push that date too far into June. I just don't think it's fair for candidates to have to deal with, what they might see door to door, if we push it too far into the end of June. So I'll be honest with you, I'm leaning to something early in June, and my preference, is a Monday, just because Mondays seem to be election days, like that's when we host elections in Canada, right? They're, whether it's provincial, federal, or municipal, they tend to be on Mondays, and no use confusing the public if you don't have to. But that's, again, we have talked about it, Miranda and I have talked about it. The other issue that we have is we do have some vacation coming up for the person who was our last, the returning officer in the municipal elections in April, in October. So we may have to actually hire some staff, 'cause we're going to be in that time of year where, you know, in October we used a lot of staff, but they're just not going to be available for us. So we may have to do some hiring of some staff. Now the good thing is we don't have a school board election. We don't, like, it's one seat. It's a by-election. It shouldn't be as complicated as what we went through in October.
No referendum questions.
No referendum questions, anything.
Anything else from council?
Typical by-election will get very poor turnout. You're right.
I just want to say Councillor Brown brought an industry perspective to the table that was appreciated, and we all know our lives change quickly, and this was a situation, unfortunately, and I know Councillor Brown will be part and parcel of input. I'm sure of that, and I appreciate that. So we look forward to connecting down the road.
So, Mr. Mayor, just the last thing on that. Outside of this meeting, nothing's been made public today. So our plan now is to do up a bit of a press release to go on our website and let everybody know what the next steps are, and that it'll come to council for an election date on April 7th, and then we'll go from there. And we'll work with, call him Councillor Brown on what he might want to say in any press release, if anything. But Mr. Mayor, we will ask you for a statement within the press release.
Super. Anything further from council? Motion is to accept the report as information. I'll call that question. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. And let's see, where are we? We're going down to reports. Anything from council? Councillor Olson?
Not this time.
Councillor Spicer? Councillor Cosby? Councillor Brown?
No.
No? Okay, and I have nothing as well on reports. Administrative briefings. Mr. Van Buell, I'm assuming you're looking after the Ludo.
So I'm looking after Laredo and the corporate services one as well. So, so land use and economic development, in reading the report, here's what I can tell you. I don't know if it's after Trina left or if she just had that many files that weren't included in this. She's way busier than this. I'm actually working on, in addition to the land use bylaw amendments that I spoke about, I'm also dealing with 4 different potential files in the land use economic development office. Everything from another application for a reimagined Redwater project to another couple of projects going on in the industrial area, and some potential residential development as well, high-density residential development. So there's a number of things that are being kicked around right now that are got me with about 5 or 6 juggling balls in the air. So business licenses, I think we're about 95% complete on all of our renewals, so renewals will come in. We dealt with that little bit of a glitch, and everything seems to be going well on that. Other than that, I'd answer any questions that might be in there.
Anything to Mr. Van Buell on Laredo? Then we'll move along, and we're going to end up with you, Mr. Davison.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. So we'll get the party started here, but we'll get going on this report. I'll start with project updates. Obviously, I'll hit the high stuff as I go through, and if you've got any questions, we'll take them at the end and see what we come up with. Or if you want to jump in, absolutely feel free. So on the project updates, reservoir building pump replacement. So this was 2025 carryover. The good news is, even though it doesn't say it in here, I did get this yesterday. Our generator has landed. And so we're
How far away?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
it is just down the road, but at the end of the day, we're looking to get this done hopefully end of April, May if it decides to ever stop snowing for us, and we'll get this underway finally and get ourselves an alternate power supply to our distribution system that will be very reliable. Look forward to getting this one done. It has taken a while to get here. As I'm sure you've all seen, our CFEP grant chairs have been installed in the ice arena. Now we've got some mixed feedback, completely understandable. Some feel like the room has become a little bit smaller as it does affect our fire code seating capability, absolutely. But to be honest, I don't know if I've ever seen it packed since I've been here, but it's definitely been pretty full. So it'll be interesting to see. Others think, some little feedback, which is good to get because they're things we want to hear anyway. Some feel the back is a little bit straight, which I find surprising because my wife gets in the car and the first thing she does is sit that seat dead straight, and I find that's a Canadian thing. But at the end of the day, so I'm surprised we're getting some complaints about it, to be honest. But I want to assure people that over time they will relax a little bit. Like anything plastic, they do tend to relax a little bit. So I think we'll be fine there. But of course, the other feedback is it's nice to be able to sit in a seat and not have to get a sore back or a sore butt and things along those lines. So we'll see how this plays out over the long term. And I mean, if it's something that people like, then it's something we'll keep in mind as well. So yeah. Moving on to the bylaw report. I'll go through this one pretty extensively. During the month of February, enforcement related to sidewalks not being cleared of snow and ice remained relatively active. A total of 16 violations were addressed under the Community Standards bylaw for sidewalks that were not maintained in accordance with bylaw requirements. All violations were identified during routine patrols conducted throughout the community, with no reports or complaints received from the public. Notices to remedy were issued to the responsible property owners outlining the requirements to clear the sidewalks within the allotted time frame. Follow-up inspections were conducted to ensure compliance, resulting in 100% compliance on those that were identified and served NTRs. 2 violations were addressed under the traffic safety bylaw relating to vehicles being parked on the street beyond the permitted 72-hour time limit. 1 vehicle remained parked past the compliance period, and we issued that vehicle a fine. The second vehicle was moved prior to further enforcement action being required. So a couple of little things there, and we do want to remind people that you do need to move your vehicle when you park it on the road every now and then to avoid us chalking tires and getting reports. It's something that we'd like people to start doing a little more often. On to the operations side, Public Works. Parts arrived for the Kubota snowblower, and we may need to use it yet. But onto the backhoe and tool cat. So a quick attach system was installed on our John Deere backhoe. It was installed to allow us to get the RPM snowblower mounted on the front. It requires that quick attach, so we had that installed, and no effect on the project. It's still right on budget. General repairs on vehicles. So the sander was taken off the GMC 1 ton, and we did buy a new Hotsy. Our old Hotsy encountered some problems that were not able to be fixed, so we did purchase a new Hotsy. Outside of that, tires on the tandem were replaced. They were looking a little slick, and safety first. Some of the stuff that's going on, it actually is a short list because really we've been focusing on a couple of things, and it is melt, and more melt. Water around town has been a big issue. While we were down for our hot seat, we couldn't get ahead of some of the culverts. So we've been running around, or the boys have been running around getting culverts dealt with. We've seen some water over sidewalks, as you saw out in front of Burger Baron. And it wasn't that culvert that goes under the highway there is quite the stretch to get unblocked when it decides to freeze. And it's not the best culvert in the world as it is, but at the end of the day we got it moving, and slowly but surely it drained away. So they're the issues that have been primarily being dealt with around town, and it is ongoing, and I'm sure now, given that I'm seeing what I'm seeing outside, it'll be ongoing for a little bit longer. So yeah. But we do ask people to be patient. We do know about it. We are moving around town, and with one hot seat unit and a couple of guys, it takes time. So, and the temperatures, of course, bouncing around, freeze warm, and away we go. It makes for a very, very busy period. So, on utilities, we had 2 operators complete some training on the gas side. So we got RMO2 training completed and pipe fusion training completed. This stuff is very important for us. I do want to touch on some regulatory related stuff while I talk about this. We do need to ensure that we have qualified and certified operators as alternates for both our systems, water, wastewater, and our gas systems. As we know, with one of our employees moving on, we need to fill those gaps, and we are working really quickly to get those done, and with the intent to have not just one alternate, but 2 alternates. So the future will look pretty bright. So. On to water, 10 to 12 water meters failing a month. This is not new; it's ongoing, but we are working on it. The downside to this is that a while back a supplier was changed, and we're not getting the same quality of meters that we had been getting prior. We have already switched back, and hopefully this will be a lessening issue as we move forward. 1CC repaired in Eastview. One of our employees went out for level 1 water prep course, and one is going out for our entry-level water course. So as I alluded to on the gas side, we are doing the identical thing on the water side, ensuring that we have business continuity and backup to an alternate to our alternates, so we can ensure that we have very safe utilities moving forward for the foreseeable future. On the wastewater, ignore the first bullet. I left a typo in. I don't know why, but a 6-foot sewer service section was not replaced downtown. It was done a number of years ago, and that is my fault. I apologize. Major flows from system infiltration in March. So as I was alluding to, as we're seeing around town with major water flows, we're seeing the identical issue at our lift station, and we're keeping a very close eye on that. It is dealing with a lot of volume at the moment, and not just surface water volume, but infiltration mixed with other things. So we're trying to stay on top of it. Ditch beside the lift station is being monitored. Obviously, if it breaches, it could flow into the lift station, causing major issues. So we're obviously staying on top of that as well. Water volume is significant this year. As some of you might have seen, we are doing a sanitary service in Eastview. Piece there, it's completed, but the residents' connection to our main had sagged significantly in our portion. Outside of the curb, so we went in and replaced that section, and it's now dealt with. Hopefully that eases some pressure there on our guys in relation to sewer calls, and also helps that resident out with some solid sanitary movement. On to stormwater, major flows through ditches, frozen catch basins being worked on, as I alluded to earlier, issues with drainage at the campground that I alluded to earlier in front of Burger Baron, and our industrial park ditches are pretty full of snow from all our businesses pushing their snow across into the ditches. The other piece, the hot seat that I alluded to, is under stormwater as well. On to Pembina Place, we had an employee take life cycle and risk management course through AARFP, which is fantastic. Any little bit of knowledge that they garner over there in reference to their facility helps. and the same employee took the Policy and Procedure Manual course at AARFP, and I'd like to report, and I'm pretty happy with this one, he's concluded all the courses that he required to get his Recreation Facility Master Operator Certificate, which is fantastic. It's no small achievement. It's actually good for him and good for us, because he has all the education you can get as far as AARFP is considered, and puts us in a good condition, in a good situation. Brine tank was topped off with new brine by the operators. We do have a slow leak somewhere. We are looking for it, and just trying to work out where this one's coming from. So. Councillor Smith, you'll remember a few years ago when I said, we found a product that we can put through the lines, and if it works, we get another 5 to 10 years out of our lines in our pad when we did the ice plant replacement project. Now we've got those years, and but now we need to just find it, and I think we can do the exact same thing over again. So I'm pretty sure we're in a good spot to continue this. The situation moving as it has been, because the good news is we haven't had to put any further product into those lines to prevent those leaks. So hopefully it should be a very quick and easy fix for us. So we'll continue with that process, and this could be ongoing for 15, 20, 30 years, which would be fantastic, because those slabs do not come cheap. On to a couple of other little maintenance items. We had a local company come in, fix a leaking pipe in the middle dressing room, hallway boiler room, and our local councillor Dwayne fixed a leaking urinal in the men's room, which is fantastic. On March 11, we closed the ODR. I think we all know what caused that, and we certainly had some weird periods of warm and cold. Outside of that, on March 17th, we had the Alberta Health Inspector come back to do a follow-up on our concession, and no issues. We're all good. We also had a local business come check where the newly purchased washer-dryer combo unit will go. We purchased this unit to save us time and expense in the ability to wash our tablecloths and all that sort of pieces for the cultural centre, which will save us a lot of time and a little bit of money, so that's fantastic. Facility March, rentals for March. You'll see all the facility usage reports. If you've got any questions about them, feel free to ask. We did add a internal usage report that you saw there. That just basically highlights how many times our programs and our own events have used those areas of our facilities. So just something to add to allow a little bit more visibility for council and for our residents. Our arena ice rentals usage and statistics, you'll see the usage totals. Shinny and Public Skate at 91 hours, RMK at 43.75, Sturgeon Hockey at 4, Bad Broads at 2.5, Dags at 6, Rockets at 1.5, and the Fossils at 22.25. So looking pretty good there as well. On to facilities. In Building 13's roof, we have identified a couple of leaks, so we are planning an inspection in the summer months to gain a better understanding of what that asset maintenance will look like in the future. Just want to see where they are and what they are, more so than anything else. On to community services under programs. We've got country line dancing, which has been a little bit of a phenom in town here, and has really surprised a lot of people, including myself. But I shouldn't be surprised. At the end of the day, it is a very popular pastime. So they're offering 2 sessions with 2 time options. It was that it was that busy. Offering babysitters and home loan again in June, and hosted Voices for Albertans with Disabilities, which we had 4 attend. And the Rain Barrel program is back on again this year. CVITP, which is a community volunteer income tax program. We've had 27 residents already utilize the program. We've had great volunteerism from a couple of locals in town that I'm sure everyone's familiar with, and big shout out to Matt and Nicole. It's fantastic. On to FCSS, community info and referrals. So lots of referrals for the food bank this month, and obviously they're related to insecurities for food. Grants and sponsorships. Received the NWR grant again this year, which we're very happy to receive from NWR. We always thank them very much, and we are very happy to put their logo on our programs and events. They applied for several other grants for the upcoming programming season, and I'll give some updates when I hear a little bit more there. And as I alluded to earlier, there was a couple of bullet points. The OHS piece is a carryover from last month, which I apologise for. And that is my report. Thank you.
Anything through to Mr. Davis? Go ahead, Councillor Cosmo.
What is Building 13?
This one right beside us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we've got a couple of little leaks in there. We call it Building 13, so sorry. I should have clarified that.
Bad luck for us, or?
It's just its GL number.
Anything? I've got a bit of a list here. The water meters you talked about, those are the actual meters, not the.
So meters and erts is a combination piece, but it's more so the meters and the erts.
The meters themselves. So they're, are they a Doppler type meter which will read low for the resident?
Yeah, generally speaking, but it's more the brand and make of the meter that's causing the problems.
And what's triggering our knowledge that it's not working? Just low readings or high?
No, they're literally failing.
Oh, they're zeros. Okay, well, that helps. I echo your sentiments with regards to the seats and the bleachers. I think they look great, and give them time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know there was people the other night that I took on a bit of a tour of the building, and they were very impressed with that whole setup, so that looks good. Live barn? What is?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I'll expand on that. So live barn is something that we don't pay for, but it is a camera system that's set up in our arena. Now, what it allows people to do, especially when so last year we hosted provincials. Yeah. One of the biggest complaints we had at provincials is, why don't you have live barn? Grandma and Grandpa want to watch from home in Airdrie, and they want to see Johnny on the ice. So we heard about a system out there that's called Live Barn, and what it basically is a bunch of cameras that they put up, one or two in particular. There is one on the north end and one on the west side, and basically the teams. So you can use it for a number of different things, but one of the biggest usages is people watch training on the coaches will watch training back on Live Barn, and they subscribe to Live Barn. So Live Barn comes to us free, but they make their money from subscriptions. We gain a very slight percentage of those subscriptions, and we gain a percentage of any subscriptions we bring in. But what it also means is if Grandma and Grandpa, Auntie and Uncle want to watch from home, they can actually log in and watch their kids play live on the ice, which is pretty cool. So it's become a little bit of a thing, and we were told during provincials last year that we should really get Live Barn. So we looked into it and we went and got Live Barn, and it actually caused us some problems for a little while. We couldn't figure out what was going wrong between our switch and our internet speeds, and a number of little issues, because we had it in, frankly, for probably about 4 months, and we just couldn't seem to get it to be consistent. And Jeremy's been very persistent with it. And between our third-party IT provider and MCSnet, we have been able to solve that issue with a switch, and away we go. So now everyone can log in and watch whatever they want on Live Barn now. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Is that something the Rebels will be able to utilize?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, all of them can. So if they anyone who's in our arena can literally subscribe to Live Barn and utilize their services. Now,
everything.
Absolutely, yeah. Practices. Now, the big thing is we get full control of it, so we can black it out. So if there is shinny or there is a private event, it is not on Live Barn, unless someone wants to subscribe to it and they let us know.
So is that something that individuals can subscribe to, or?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's actually a really neat idea. A lot of arenas around the province have it. And it's become a little bit of a thing, and provincials, it's kind of somewhat expected now that wherever they're being held, they have Live Barn. So it's it's a pretty good deal. We're very happy with it. But if you want to see the setup, when you go in, there'll be a camera on the north end below the gym, the fire doors there, the windows, and then above the benches on the west side, there's a second camera. Yeah, it's a very neat little thing. Yeah, it's a good addition though.
Schools have been doing it for a while now for their basketball, volleyball tournaments and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's quite the deal. We're really happy to have it and have it working. Be able to let people know we have it. So.
In your report, you talk about the ditch beside the lift station being monitored. If it breaches, it could flow into the lift station, causing major issues. Some time ago, and I'm only thinking back maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe 6 now, I guess, new culverts were put in along that ditch to ease that problem. Are they still undersized, or?
No, they're not undersized. The biggest thing is just getting ahead of the volumes that are coming and making sure they're free and clear, and that's our guys' responsibility. But the unfortunate side is our lift station sits a little low.
Yeah.
So it kind of suffers a little bit. But it might be something that we look at this summer, is trying to build a berm up there and just keep the water volumes away. So.
Yeah, I know they had some stuff stacked around there some years back, but.
Yeah, I mean, we could put a sandbag retaining wall or something there as well. Yeah, we've got options.
And my last point is, you had a comment here with respect to Ben continued to fix loose tiles around the building with some near the dressing room hallway and lounge and cultural center vestibules. I was there for the last little tournament they had, under sevens or whatever they were. They had their weekend tournament, and I've noticed it before. We have consistent numbers of young ones playing mini hockey, and they're whacking everything with their sticks, whether they're playing hockey or just banging it on the side and what have you. Is there something we could do with maybe some puckboard or something to give them an area they could place to, I mean, silly hockey?
Yeah, we've certainly considered it. It's one of those pieces where it's difficult to find that area. But I do know there's some other arenas that have put in mini stick areas.
Yeah.
Where kiddies can go in and you know, crack away with mini sticks. So it's definitely something we'll certainly consider. It's certainly at the front of our minds. We just have to find a spot that we'd be okay with.
Yeah, and the front street would be, but no, and I'm not, I'm not trying to cause grief or anything else, but the 3 young ones that I saw were just in that little walkway immediately to your left when you walk into the arena, and they were whacking the cement block wall and the side panel there leading up to the bleachers and everything else, and there was several times where they weren't trying to play a puck or anything else. They were just beating the wall. That's all.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Yeah, and it's one of those things that you've got to find a place where you don't mind the noise either, right?
well, yeah.
Because the first thing we thought was there is portable mini stick hockey rinks you can get, and they're all puckboard. But the issue is they get really loud really quick. And you get 10 or 15 kids in there and they're zipping around and screaming and whatever, and it becomes a little bit distracting for a lot of people. So it's one of those pieces that, could we ship them into the cultural centre? It's a possibility, but we can't have a lot of damage in there either. It's a little more fragile than a lot of other areas in the facility, so yeah. I should quickly point one out. At one point I did skip over, and maybe I should have talked about it, is we have a lot of issue with the dividers between the urinals getting broken.
Yes.
It seems every time we have an event, we get a divider broken. So I want to make council aware that we're taking the dividers out. And if we're all a little bit too shy, then, that is what it is. But, yeah. Exactly. If you're shy, go to the store. But at the end of the day, yeah, we've decided to pull the pin on the dividers because it's just been an ongoing issue.
There was 4 ripped off the other day when I was in there.
Holy.
And you guys have taken some really proactive attack to it. I mean, 1.5 angle iron brackets.
Quarter-inch thick, not a 1/8 inch thick either.
We didn't muck around on beefing them up, but the downside is you just can't beef up cinder block wall, and unfortunately once you lay a boot to it or you decide to give it a shoulder check, you're going to loosen that cinder block dynabolt and away you go. So I just wanted to make council aware of that in case it becomes a topic of conversation.
The only issue there is that if they're not kicking those off, then they're kicking a urinal, which could be.
Yeah, we just hope they slip and.
But
Yeah. Or the urinal is longer than their toe.
Yeah, one of the two.
On your one report, OHS, you said, please see attached OHS contact report. I can't find it in my.
Yeah, it's because it's that's one of the leftover bullet points that I apologize for.
No
at the
problem.
start.
Just check.
Yeah, I was on a little bit of a time crunch and I accidentally left two bullet points in there that were not meant for this report. So yeah, I apologize.
Anything else for Mr. Davis? His new office. Okay. Mr. Van Buel, we're back to you, I'm assuming?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of council, this is going to be the shortest corporate services report on record. Because if you want me to talk about the finances, I will talk about some of the finances because there's a couple things in the report that I think are worth going over and a couple updates that I'll give council. Nothing to highlight really on the first page. I think the second page of the report, just on the capital projects, the spreadsheet is there, so what's gonna happen in the corporate services report from here on in is we'll be giving you an update on where the capital projects are based on that sheet. So if you wanna know where any of the capital projects are as we go through them, that'll be every month. Couple things here. There's a report, the Education Property Tax Requisition Comparison Report. I'm sure you all quickly went down to Redwater and to see what was going on. So, you know, I'm not going to stand on too big of a soapbox here, but this is, you know, quite frankly, the province can call it whatever they want. This is a tax increase by the provincial government, and it's a tax increase that we're going to have to collect from our residents. And for whatever reason, when you go through this report, it's good news for non-residential taxpayers, so our businesses. Theirs is going down 1%, and the residential and farmland requisition for school requisition is gonna go up 12%. So residentials are gonna, you know, it's gonna hurt. That's not gonna be an insignificant amount of money. In fact, it's gonna be 3 times so the property tax requisition is gonna be, you know, basically 3 times the increase that the municipal requisition, or the municipal tax increase is gonna be. Not quite 3, but 2 and a bit. So, again, that is not insignificant. So that's the bad news in the financials.
I just want to make a comment on that too, though, and I know Alberta Munis is pushing hard that, and some of these mayors of different towns are pushing hard that they want the provincial government to collect that. And I know it sucks for us to collect it and pass it on, but I don't think it's a good idea that we go to the provincial government and say, hey, you collect your own taxes in this case, because then they will collect all taxes.
And, Councillor Spicer, you're absolutely correct. And the minister, the finance minister made that point crystal clear
Right.
back in September.
But I keep seeing in Alberta Munis reports here that they keep, there's a couple mayors out there that just keep hacking at them, going after them to.
That was, Mayor Henchy from Cleveland County mentioned that from RMA, since they're RMA and the rest of us sitting around the infrastructure table were AB Munis, what were they thinking? Because RMA's like dumbfounded, and she talked with the premier and she said, if we do one, we're doing them all. you know, and then we're gonna be stuck. They'll give us what they figure we need, not what we should be entitled to, probably.
Munis this week with the leadership thing, I think that's gotta be something that's gotta be.
Mr. Van Buel's absolutely correct. The finance minister at the fall convention
Yeah.
stood at the very front of the room after 2 or 3 people had talked about this, and he looked at everybody and he said, "I'm here to tell you, be careful what you wish for."
Yep.
And that was his exact word. He was telling us, no, don't go down that road. And there was people in that room that are standing up today going, we need them to back off and collect their own tax. We're going, did you not hear what the minister said? And their argument, of course, is, yeah, well, he was just salting his own mind and da-da-da. But the reality of it is, they're not going to have 2 parallel systems. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Andrew Knack's been beating that drum again. City been really high on it.
Well, and they're talking multi-millions of dollars in their problems, but that's their problem. For a small municipality like us, to have somebody come along and then, like Councillor Olson says, for us to be told what our budget level is going to be because somebody's looking at it from a provincial lens, it isn't going to work. It just isn't going to work.
It was part of, if I'm not mistaken, part of the reason was staff time, some of it, and some of it was they didn't want to take the flack.
Yeah, they didn't
Counselors,
say
because,
Yep.
but it's not flack, that's a perfect opportunity for education for the residents to say, look halfway up the sheet, instead of at the bottom line, and see what the taxes are. You know, here's your municipal, here's your school, and here's your seniors.
When the time comes, I'm quite prepared to put the discussion point forward that we actually put an insert specifically to that in our tax notices.
A good idea.
Because there's so many people think that it's us, and
Yeah.
the total dollar isn't us, but the government has also said on several online things and what have you, no, you can't put special line on your tax form for policing in particular was the commentary.
Yes.
But I'll tell you, I don't have any problems whatsoever putting a notice in the tax bill that says, hey, before you yell, realize this and this are also included in your tax notice.
And Mr. Mayor, I think there's lots of, it doesn't even, I mean, we can go beyond the actual tax bill. We can do things on our website, we can do all kinds of different public education things as we go forward.
So, sorry, I'm about to lose my computer here, so I just need.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor, just, other thing I want to highlight is just the timeline, and it's page 3 of the report, I believe. So on April 7th, at the regular council meeting, there's going to be an opportunity for council to direct administration to prepare the tax rate options ahead of the April 28th committee of the whole meeting. So we'll have a discussion about what that looks like, especially as it relates to, you know, the assessment values and the education portion of the tax, and how we want to do our split. On April 21st, at the regular council meeting, that's when the assessor will be doing the presentation, and that's by Tamar Consulting. On April 28th, the committee of the whole will have a tax rate presentation prior to May 5th, the regular council meeting, where the final tax rate presentation and passing of the tax rate bylaw. The important note here is May 5th, that's really our last opportunity to pass that tax rate bylaw and still get everything completed and ready for that deadline on June 30th. So, other than that, let me give you the good news financially from LGFF, and there is some good news, believe it or not. So in 2024, our LGFF capital allocation was right around $459,000. So it was, you know, and some hundreds there, but call it 459K. This year, it went down to 455K for 2025. For 2025. And then in 2027, our 2025
was 459.
was 459.
2026 was 455.
No, 2025 was 450. Yeah, this year was 455. Jeez.
And 2027
is going-
will be,
496.
Oh.
It's gonna be up just about 41K. And that is tied,
Spent already.
Spent it this year.
and that is all tied to provincial revenues. We had that one, and it's not tied to provincial deficits, and I think this is an important piece. It's tied to actual revenue. So just because the province is running a deficit, that doesn't mean our numbers are going down. It's tied to the actual revenue that the province brings in. So, don't want to say anything about oil prices right now, but they might be good news for the province, and they might be good news for us down the road. But anyway, so that was the good news out of that. Other than that, Mr. Mayor, all the financial stuff, if you're looking for me to answer any questions, I'll give it my bestish try. But short of it being a really simple answer, we'll carry them over till April 7th, and we'll write them down and get Allegra to answer them on the 7th.
anything on financials? Go ahead.
I just have the one with regards to the bridge rehab. It looks like from the report and everything, it's gonna come under budget,
Yep.
which is good. The other thing with that is not financial. Was there a bridge rating given?
I would have to follow up. I do
Yeah.
believe so, but I'd have to check the report.
So we can post signs and maybe slow down some of the farmers and.
Yeah, absolutely. We had some pretty good ruts here lately.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I'll follow that one up.
Yeah, because I've never seen a tonnage sign on there or a weight restriction or anything, right?
Yeah,
So-
I'm
curious.
recall it being there. I can't recall off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
Had some B trains and stuff go across there when they were detouring.
Yeah.
Certain things happen and they detour that direction. They shouldn't be.
no.
Well, that's what I was sort of wondering, if it should be signed like down here as a non-truck route.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a fair call. I'll follow up and double check that actually.
There's been several of the yellow-colored tankers. But the B-train tanker units, they're using 58th Street. And down past the meat lockers, come back up onto 28. That way they don't have to go all the way out to the Redwater corner and then cut back all the way that distance.
That's good to know.
We might be looking for weight restrictions on that road as well, especially in the spring runoff. It'll get beat badly.
Imagine.
We
Can't
could,
imagine that road is very good right now.
and you might want to piggyback with sturgeon on that so that it becomes a continuous thing. Go ahead, Councillor Smith.
Truck route being mentioned. Is there any way we can get a sign put up by Tim Hortons on the south?
Yeah, letting them know as they're coming in what the heavy truck
It's,
route is.
it's amazing how many Super Bs and B trains come through the residential area, turn around. They miss the corner. I mean,
Yeah.
it's literally amazing.
Yeah, I'm not. It's interesting because anytime there's an accident out on 28, and it seems to be right just north or south of our turn, that's when you start seeing all that traffic peel out and they start coming around the back way. So we'll have to. I don't disagree. We'll have to get a little bit more signage up, and I think the heavy route sign out there is probably not a bad idea.
Oh, I mean, right to Tim Hortons, they miss the corner entering the parking lot.
Oh, really?
And they come through,
They go all the way
They
down
circle
past
around
the school.
65th. Interesting.
that's all new pavement.
I'll have to have a good look at that because you're right. That's where we have a lot of our.
And anything loaded on
Eve.
those roads wouldn't be good news, especially.
Especially the Ochre Park Road.
Yeah, especially in spring.
And I was just down that new pavement and there's a couple
Yeah, I was down there the other
Couple
day
of
as well.
cracks across that now.
Yeah, and we knew that wasn't going to hold. It was more to smooth it out, but hopefully it when it shifts back, it just pops into place rather than pops up.
But you've got these big units coming.
Yeah, and that could definitely hurt that for sure. Yeah, we'll have to make a change there.
Go ahead, Councillor Cosme.
I just want to give a kudos to the girls in the office for this pilot project they're moving forward with in regards to the tax prepayments. I think this is a fabulous idea, and I would clearly like to be kept in the loop on this to see how this works, because I really think we're onto something here. Instead of enrolling in the beginning of a year, you give the residents an opportunity for people that buy throughout the year to enroll into this program. And I think that's a great idea.
I do have one for follow-up, Mr. Van Buell. I think I know what it might be, but I'm not sure. Maybe Mr. Davison might have an input to it, I'm not sure. In the revenue on the, what is this one called?
Financial statements?
Yeah,
Okay.
the columns. The revenue statement, it shows the swimming pool as year-to-date $96,000 of revenue, making it 69% of the budget. And I'm wondering if that might be a reserve transfer or something in preparation. I don't know. But if we could find out at another meeting,
Yeah, for sure.
it's,
Doing pretty good at the pool.
yeah, I can understand why the, Pembina Place is at 52% of their budget. But it caught me off guard where 69% of the pool revenue is already
We will
cataloged.
bring that back for,
Yeah.
Just, like I said, it's just an answer, not,
That's just the money we've saved.
all right.
if I was to guess, it would be a swag. It would be a swag guess, a scientific wild, you know what.
I guess. Council, we talked about the municipal affairs tax fact sheet and the comparison report. And then council action list, is there anything you wanted to bring up off of that?
Nothing at this time, Mr. Mayor. I know we're still, the one outstanding is doing some public education on how our fire bylaw works, and we just,
Yep.
you know, I apologize, we just haven't found the time to get at it, but it is on our radar list. I know Miranda and I have talked about it for about 3 weeks in a row now, and with people leaving and different things coming up, it just hasn't hit the action list yet.
We'll have to reach out to seniors transportation again, to reschedule of some sort. Okay. Anything from council on administrative briefings? Not seeing anything, I'll ask for a motion to accept as presented. Councillor Cosby,
To accept the report as presented.
Councillor Olson.
I'll move to adjourn, 1929.
I'm sorry, we have to call for a vote first. Motion on the table to accept the administrative briefing. I'll call that question. All in favor? That's carried. And Councillor Olson,
Still at 1929, I'll move to adjourn.
thanks very much, everybody.